All right, so the president indicating today that besides tax cuts, which the financial community would love to see, this idea of infrastructure and all the companies that are behind that, they're going to see as well better than $1 trillion worth, and not again just for roads and bridges, but cyber, utilities, expansion, that sort of thing. Among the participants at today's powwow of CEOs, the 17th such powwow, by the way, for this president, more than Barack Obama had throughout his 8 years as president, more than George Bush had, by the way. The president of the NYSE Group, which not only includes the NYSE, but Equity and Equity Options Exchanges, Tom Farley. Tom, very good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here with you. Thanks so much.
What was the sense you got out of the president on how likely and how soon all of this will come to pass?
You know, first let me just say it was a really good morning, really productive morning. The president was on message. He came in the room wanting to signal his business-friendly stance, and that's what he did. He focused on reducing regulation, his quest to reduce regulation, and to have smarter taxes. There wasn't a lot of specifics around timing. He did give a few examples, and he talked about now in some of the permitting processes for complicated federal projects, they can take 10 years, and he wants to see regulation reduced smartly, and he was very clear to say he still wants to protect investors, consumers, the everyday public, but see 10-year projects reduced down to a one-year permitting process. He joked that 4 months was his ideal number, but he would settle for a year.
Do you get a sense, also from the president, that he is going to stay focused on this? A lot of his even admirers wince a little bit when he veers off track, talks about Russia, talks about the media, talks about that, and when he is on message with this, he's on fire.
Yeah, I can tell you that was a question for me coming in, and I suspect for others of my colleagues, CEOs from New York and elsewhere who are here today. And just judging by the performance the president had, I can tell you he subdued my concerns quite a bit. Like I said, on message, he came in. Vice President Pence introduced the 45th president, President Trump, and he started by saying he wants to be the most business-friendly president ever. And then President Trump backed him right up by going through all the business-friendly things he wants to do, and he tied it to jobs and creating a more healthy economy and ultimately improving standard of living for everyone, including the, as President Trump stated, you know, the 100 million people who are out of work, the technically unemployed as well as those that are also unemployed but don't fall in that 4.6% unemployment rate.
Now, from a financial perspective, from a markets perspective, they've been on fire. The NYSE has been on fire. New offerings, initial public offerings. You guys have just had it with a big one, Snap. That we're seeing a lot more of that sort of thing. Do you think the president's agenda is a big reason for that?
Yeah, unquestionably. I mean, I think that's manifest. Business confidence has improved. Consumer confidence has improved since the election. The Dow Jones was all the way down near 17,000 on the night of the election. If you remember the futures really diving, and now it's up, what is it, 15%?
Do you worry, though, that the markets, even with this run-up and then drawback, I mean, that there's still price for perfection, that if this doesn't pan out or tax cuts get delayed or even denied, or it's only a corporate tax cut and individual rates are pushed way back, does that unsettle you or what?
Well, generally, I'm somebody who worries and you know, gets concerned about what could go wrong. And that's why I'm here today. That's why I made the decision to come to advocate on behalf of the listed companies with the Partnership for New York City. Was we need to see deeds follow the words. We need to see actions follow the words in order to have confidence that the economy will continue to improve. We have the highest corporate income tax among all developed countries. Your viewers know that. That just doesn't make sense. In this day and age where it's a very competitive global marketplace, we need to see smarter, sensible taxes, and we need to see smarter, sensible regulation that still protects, in my case, investors, you know, investors who use the New York Stock Exchange, and in general, the investing public and the general public. But we can do that without the labyrinth of regulations we put on our businesses, many of whom we're here today in the White House.
You know, we live very quickly in a high-tech world. I mean, you witnessed that, of course, yourself firsthand with the days when we had thousands of guys on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, I think around 600 today. Do you see that number shrinking down even more?
You know, in the time I've been in the New York Stock Exchange, it's been static, maybe even creeped up a few. And the reason is we have tremendously sophisticated technology, as you would imagine. You don't hear us or me talk about it too often, but we process billions, tens of billions of transactions on our busiest days. But the humans are what make us unique, and the opening and closing trade at the New York Stock Exchange, which represent about 6.5% of the total volume for a company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, those are overseen by humans, and that allows for lower volatility, a tighter bid-offer spread. So it's really that blend of the good old-fashioned humans and the technology, which makes us what we are and enables us to get all those leading IPOs that you referred to.
All right, Tom Farley, good chatting with you. The NYSE president, Tom Farley.